Deep in the heart of State Your Location lies a realm untouched by time, a place where the natural world and the supernatural intertwine in a delicate, eerie balance. Shrouded in an eerie silence, this forest is a world unto itself, a place where the usual rules of reality seem to bend and twist. It is known only as the Haunted Forest. Locals whisper tales of its dark past, stories passed down through generations, each more chilling than the last. They speak of lives claimed and souls forever trapped within its shadowy embrace. The forest stands as a menacing testament to the unknown, a place where the line between the living and the dead blurs. Here, fear takes root, and nightmares come to life. The air grows heavy with dread as you step across the forest's threshold, a palpable sense of foreboding settling over you. Towering trees, their branches gnarled and twisted like skeletal fingers, reach out towards you, as if trying to ensnare you in their grasp. These trees cast long, eerie shadows that dance and writhe in the faint moonlight, creating an ever-shifting landscape of light and dark. Beneath your feet, the forest floor is a tapestry of decaying leaves and broken branches, muffling your footsteps and amplifying the sense of isolation that surrounds you. Each step you take seems to echo in the stillness, a reminder of your solitude. As darkness descends, the forest comes alive with the sounds of the unknown, the rustling of leaves, the snapping of twigs, the distant hoot of an owl, all combine to create an unsettling symphony that sets your heart racing. You try to shake off the feeling of unease that has settled upon you, but deep down, you know that something is not right in this place. The forest holds its breath, watching you, waiting for you to make your next move. And as you venture deeper into its depths, the sense of being watched intensifies. Every rustle, every shadow seems to hide a secret, a presence just out of sight. You can't shake the feeling that you are not alone. The deeper you go, the more the forest seems to close in around you, its secrets pressing in from all sides. The air grows colder, the shadows darker, and the sense of dread more palpable. You realize that this is a place where the past and present coexist, where the spirits of those who came before still linger, watching, waiting. The haunted forest is not just a place, it is a living, breathing entity, a guardian of secrets and a keeper of souls. And as you stand there, surrounded by its ancient trees and the whispers of the past, you can't help but wonder what stories it holds, and what fate awaits those who dare to enter its depths. The forest is a place of mystery and magic, a realm where the boundaries between the natural and the supernatural blur. It is a place that calls to the curious and the brave, a place that promises adventure and danger in equal measure. And as you take your first step into its shadowy embrace, you know that you are embarking on a journey into the unknown, a journey that will test your courage and your resolve. The haunted forest is waiting, and it has many stories to tell. Will you be the one to uncover its secrets, or will you become just another whisper in the wind? The stories told about the haunted forest are as varied as they are unsettling. Each tale, whispered from one generation to the next, adds another layer to the forest's dark and mysterious reputation. Some whisper of ancient rituals and sacrifices, of dark magic that permeates the very air you breathe. They say that long ago, a coven of witches performed forbidden rites here, calling upon dark forces that still linger in the shadows. Others speak of tragic accidents and unsolved disappearances of restless spirits forever searching for peace in the afterlife. The forest has claimed many lives, and each disappearance adds to its haunted legacy. One popular legend tells of a group of hikers who dared to spend the night in the forest only to be driven mad by unseen forces. They were experienced adventurers, confident in their ability to navigate the wilderness, but they were unprepared for what awaited them. They say the hikers stumbled out of the woods days later, their eyes wide with terror, their clothes torn and bloodied. Their minds were shattered and they could barely speak, only muttering incoherent phrases about shadows and whispers. They never spoke of what they had seen, but the haunted look in their eyes spoke volumes. The fear etched into their faces was a stark warning to anyone who might consider venturing into the forest. Another story tells of a young couple who parked their car on a secluded road within the forest, seeking a moment of privacy. They were young and in love, oblivious to the dangers that lurked in the darkness around them. As the legend goes, they were never seen alive again, their car later discovered abandoned, its interior covered in strange symbols and bloodstains. The symbols were unlike anything anyone had ever seen, and the bloodstains told a gruesome tale of violence and terror. These stories, passed down through generations, serve as a chilling reminder of the forest's power. Families gather around campfires, sharing these tales with wide-eyed children, ensuring that the legends live on. They are a testament to the darkness that lurks beneath its surface, a darkness that can claim the minds and souls of those foolish enough to enter its domain. The forest is a place where the line between reality and nightmare blurs, and where the whispers in the dark can drive even the bravest souls to madness. The haunted forest remains a place of mystery and fear, a place where the past and present intertwine, and where the unknown waits to ensnare the unwary. Its legends are a stark reminder that some places are best left undisturbed, their secrets buried deep within the shadows. So, if you ever find yourself near the edge of the haunted forest, remember the stories. Remember the whispers in the dark, and think twice before you step into the shadows. For once you enter, you may never find your way out again. One fateful summer night, a young camper named Alex decided to explore the outskirts of the haunted forest. Ignoring the warnings of the park ranger and the whispers of his fellow campers, he ventured into the shadows, eager for adventure. As darkness fell, Alex found himself hopelessly lost. The familiar landmarks of the campsite had vanished, replaced by a maze of identical trees and winding paths. Panic began to set in as he realized the true extent of his predicament. Stumbling through the undergrowth, Alex called out for help, his voice swallowed by the oppressive silence of the forest. He could hear his heart pounding in his chest, each beat echoing the growing sense of dread that threatened to consume him. Just when Alex felt like all hope was lost, he saw a faint light flickering in the distance. With renewed determination, he stumbled towards it, praying that it would lead him back to safety. Back at the campsite, as hours turned into an agonizing night, the other campers grew increasingly concerned about Alex's absence. They alerted the park ranger, a grizzled old man named Jebediah, who knew the forest and its dangers better than anyone. Jebediah assembled a search party, their faces etched with worry as they set out into the darkness. They carried lanterns and flashlights, their beams cutting through the oppressive gloom, desperately searching for any sign of the missing camper. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the search party couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Jebediah, his weathered face illuminated by the flickering light of his lantern, muttered under his breath about the forest's dark history and the spirits that haunted its depths. The search party called out Alex's name, their voices echoing through the silent trees, but their calls were met with only the rustling of leaves and their own pounding hearts. Meanwhile, Alex, drawn by the flickering light, stumbled upon a small clearing. In the center stood a dilapidated wooden cabin, its windows dark and lifeless. Smoke curled from its chimney, a beacon of hope in the otherwise desolate landscape. As Alex approached the cabin, he noticed strange symbols carved into its wooden walls. They were crude and unsettling, resembling nothing he had ever seen before. A shiver ran down his spine as he reached for the doorknob, a sense of foreboding washing over him. Mustering his courage, Alex knocked on the door. The sound echoed through the clearing, swallowed by the silence that followed. He waited, his heart pounding, but there was no response. Just as he was about to turn away, he heard a noise from inside the cabin. It was a faint sound, like the creaking of floorboards, followed by a soft whisper. Alex cautiously pushed open the cabin door, his hand trembling. The old wooden door creaked loudly, echoing through the silent forest around him. He hesitated for a moment, taking a deep breath before stepping inside. The interior was dimly lit by a single flickering oil lamp, casting dancing shadows on the walls. The shadows seemed to move with a life of their own, creating an eerie atmosphere that made Alex's skin crawl. The air was thick with the smell of damp earth and something else, something ancient and unsettling. It was as if the cabin itself was alive, breathing in the darkness, watching his every move. In the center of the room, a fire crackled in a stone fireplace, casting a warm glow on the worn furniture and dusty bookshelves that lined the walls. The fire seemed out of place, as if someone had been there recently, yet the rest of the cabin felt abandoned. A rocking chair creaked back and forth in the corner, as if recently vacated. The rhythmic creaking added to the unsettling feeling that someone or something was still present. "Hello?" Alex called out, his voice barely a whisper. The words seemed to hang in the air, swallowed by the oppressive silence of the cabin. "Is anyone here?" he asked again, louder this time, but still met with silence. Silence. The only response was the crackling of the fire and the creaking of the rocking chair. Only the crackling of the fire and the creaking of the rocking chair answered him. The sound seemed to grow louder, filling the empty space with an almost tangible presence. Alex took a hesitant step inside, his eyes scanning the room, searching for any sign of life. His heart pounded in his chest, each beat echoing in his ears. As he stepped further into the cabin, he noticed something strange. The room was filled with odd details that didn't quite fit together. There were no footprints in the dust-covered floor, no indication that anyone had been in or out of the cabin for years. Yet, the fire burned brightly, and the rocking chair moved as if someone had just left. It was as if the cabin existed in a time of its own, untouched by the outside world. Alex's eyes were drawn to an old dusty book on one of the shelves. He reached out, his fingers brushing against the cover, feeling the rough texture of the aged leather. He opened the book, the pages yellowed with age, and began to read. The words were faded, but he could make out enough to understand that this was no ordinary book. It spoke of ancient rituals and forgotten lore, things that should have been left buried in the past. As he read, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. The shadows seemed to grow darker, the air colder. He looked around but saw nothing. Yet the feeling persisted, gnawing at the edges of his mind. Determined to uncover the secrets of the cabin, Alex closed the book and set it aside. He knew that whatever was hidden here, he had to find it. The cabin held answers, and he was determined to uncover them, no matter the cost.